Okay, excellent. Here we are. We landed on Facebook. Over to Justine. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to Plan Tracker's Facebook Live. My name is Justine. I'm joined today by Sarah, our Community Engagement Manager, and we work with Plan Tracker. Plan Tracker is a nationwide plan and self-management organisation and community. And today we are chatting with Libby and Brendon from the Housing Hub. We're going to be covering off some information and support around today, specialised disability accommodation. In general, home and living supports have undergone a redevelopment, if you might, with increased focus and acknowledgement around human rights, social inclusion, and supporting people with disability to achieve their true life potential. And that has pretty much transformed into these new opportunities and options available to people with disability. Under the NDIS, recently, individualised living options, ILOs, have opened up, and also specialised disability accommodation, also known as SDA. Today, we are chatting with Brendon, who has just moved into his brand new home, so brand new that the blinds are still going up, and he's had such an exciting week. He's going to tell us about how he actually accessed SDA, how he's finding the whole journey, and then we're also going to chat with Libby from the Housing Hub around how the Housing Hub supports people with disability with their matching platform, their ongoing information support and workshops. So welcome, Libby and Brendon. Brendon, tell us a little bit about you and the new home you've just moved into.
Well, thank you, Justine, for giving me this opportunity to go live. I'm still on cloud nine. I've only just moved into my SDA a week ago, and it's very exciting and all new to me. This is my first time of living out of home ever in my life, so I'm sort of trying to get a feel of how everything works, getting power connected and doing all those sorts of things that a normal able-bodied person would do, and I'm loving every minute of it. It's exciting. It's it's amazing. I cannot. I just cannot believe it's happening.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tell us a little bit about the house that or the apartment that you've moved into.
Okay, so the apartment that I currently that I've moved into, there are 10 apartments in this complex. Um, all all high physical support needs apartments, and then there are a couple of improved living apartments, and it's it's monitored by on-site overnight support 24 hours 7 days a week. You have someone available to assist you when you require, and it's yeah it's like living in a hotel kind of thing. It's really exciting, and it's great. um it's been a really long um journey to get to this point. It's taken 2 years to 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 get to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
My journey is still not completely over. I'm um I'm there are some challenges
Mm-hmm.
that I'm facing at the moment with my my apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and what, what I aim to do today is share that story with everyone, and explain it, and go through just what I'm what I'm going through and what I've
Maybe
been
some hot
through.
tips as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Let's talk a little bit about, you touched on, and we don't need to go into the high level. Well, we'll stay high level, I
Yeah.
suppose. So your apartment is a high physical intensity apartment,
Yeah, it's a high
right? Yep.
physical
support. So yeah, so there's three
yeah.
different levels of SDA, and you're living in one of those three different levels. And then you're also being provided support, from my understanding, because you have choice and control of the way that you manage your NDIS funding, you have supports from at least two different organisations.
Yeah. So I have a team of private support workers that support me during the day, during my normal everyday living situation, and then I have the on-site overnight support for when my private support workers are not here. So yeah, it's a concept that I'm trialing, and it's working really well. Yeah, and I'm enjoying it, and it's great. Yeah.
Beautiful. And so why do you think it is important to, for people to understand and know that the SDA is actually does not sit exclusively with those provision of supports? Because that's a very important concept with SDA, isn't it? The SDA is the bricks and mortar, and then the supports that you receive, you've got choice. Most people have got choice and control over that.
So the way we describe it in our housing hub workshops that we run. Sorry, I should explain I'm also a lived experienced facilitator attached with the Summer Foundation, who coordinate the housing hub. And so the SDA provider is different to the SIL provider. So the SDA provider, they pay for the bricks and the mortar of the property, and then the SIL manages the support side of things, making sure participants receive the right amount of care that they require whilst living in that SDA accommodation.
Beautiful. And SIL is the supported independent living component of your NDIS plan. So thank you so much for that, Brendon. I was going to step back and just ask you to tell us about your day-to-day. So one of your activities is to be a lived experience facilitator with the Summer Foundation. What else do you get up to?
So I regularly attend Brisbane Bronco games, and I also I'm heavily involved with the Supercars Championship that travels around Australia. I've been working at the Gold Coast and at Ipswich when the races are on out there, and I've been doing that for 14 years, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I believe that my disability, you look at the ability, not the disability. So that's really important for me. It's about living a healthy and active lifestyle as possible for myself.
Beautiful. That's awesome. And do you believe the NDIS has helped you achieve these goals and actually participating with these groups?
Yes, in terms of getting out into the community, the NDIS has been really supportive and helpful. When it comes to my SDA, like I said in the beginning, there are some challenges that I'm facing in that, and I guess the challenge that I'm facing now is the challenge of getting the right approval that I'm wanting for the level of funding to keep my apartment so I can continue to live as independently as possible.
Beautiful.
And yeah, so at the moment I'm working with I've got an AAT application in to get the approval approval level changed and overturned. And
let's step back a bit then, Brendon. Let's go from the beginning. How did you make this all happen?
Okay, so it all started with a regular visit with my occupational therapist, and we were talking, and she mentioned to me, have you heard about SDA? It's relatively new to the NDIS. And she said she thought that I would be eligible and that I should consider applying.
Mhm.
So I thought about it for a little while, and I was like, oh, could I live independently? I really, really wanted to. Like from graduating high school as an 18-year-old, every 18-year-old's rite of passage is to move out of home
100%.
and experience what living independently is all about. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, why not? So my OT came out and we did an assessment on what my home and living situation is all about. And then she decided, like, then she asked me, would I consider continue going with an application? And I said, yes, let's do that. So around October 2019, the application was done. It was in, and it was in, submitted, waiting for approval. I didn't think anything of it until later on in, because I had a scheduled plan review coming up the following year in April. I was like, I went and did that, and we were going through what my supports would look like. And the planner actually mentioned to me, he was like, oh, did you know you've got your SDA? And I was like,
Oh,
no, I didn't. I was like, what? I was like, when was that approved? And he said it was approved in like early, late February of 2020. And I was like, okay, like that shook me. That shook me and surprised me a bit.
mm,
And he said, yeah, you can go basically and start
go
looking,
shopping.
yeah, yeah, home shopping. And I was like, okay. And then I just sort of left it for a week or two, just to let it sink in. And then I approached my support coordinator, who gave me the housing hub website. And he goes, it's like realestate.com. It's like it's for people with disabilities, for disability accommodation.
Hmm.
So I looked, so I jumped on there and I was having a look around, and I was like, and some of the properties that were listed looked really, really inviting and like, oh, I could live there. I really want to live there.
So you started getting excited.
Yeah, I did. And then I literally found the one through my SDA. So I found one that was literally 10 minutes from where I was living. It was close to public transport, close to amenities, close to health services. And
Mm,
I was like, yep, that's where I want to live.
that's, yeah.
Perfect.
That's, and I was like, I immediately contacted the SDA provider, and then we met about 4 weeks later to get the process going. The property
Beautiful.
hadn't even begun construction yet, so it was. I've been involved with the process of this property for since the beginnings, since there was just a pile of dirt here on the land, and I've watched it construct and grow. And yeah, I'm really, really, yeah, it was
That's great for your knowledge bank, isn't it? Because you've certainly had a massive learning curve, haven't you? And you've really gotten in from the ground up.
exactly. And because the SDA provider hadn't known much about the Logan area, I was sort of giving him a bit of information about
Mm,
Logan.
mm,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah, and it was we have me and the SDA provider have a good relationship.
Mm.
We
mm, mm,
work really
mm,
hard
mm.
and to get this going.
Yeah. And so I guess one of the things that sorry, Sarah, go.
Oh, I just wanted to, is that okay if I just loop back to a part of what Brendon just told us? That I guess I'm putting my parent hat on here for myself, even though there is a ways to go in my children because they're quite young, but it's so valuable. So first of all, I want to thank you for sharing all this information and thought process with us, Brendon, because I recognize that these kind of concepts need to start well before we're ready to actually go and talk to the NDIS about these types of funding, but also then go out and look in our community and think about the possibilities, what is possible when it comes to for myself, our children living independently. But I just want to loop back to, I hope it's okay now to touch on the point of you were living in your family home until what age, Brendon?
36.
36. Okay. So is it okay to ask you, were there any reservations when it came to the idea of leaving the family home, either for yourself or your family?
Yeah, there were some reservations. But the biggest reservation for both myself and my family was, am I going to receive the right care? Am I going to be well looked after? That sort of thing. And I guess for a person with a disability, that is the biggest fear that someone has when they do look at moving out in, into their on their own is, am I going to be careful?
Yeah.
Is it going to be safe? Is it going to be secure? Am I going to be happy? You know, and
do you feel that choosing your day-to-day supporters, support workers, and having control over choosing those individuals and directing that support, would you say that that's a key way that you do address that concern? Or
I think choice and control is really important. It should be important. It should be about how we want to run our day-to-day lives. Every other able-bodied person in the world, makes their own decision of what they want to do, where they want to go, who they want to be with. Why shouldn't a person with a disability have that same human right as everybody else? And I think establishing good relationships and good connections with everybody in your support network with a disability is important, and it's vital. And another thing that I like having is stability too. Stability is really, really important for me, and focusing on routine and stuff, that's it's key for me. It's what makes me happy and 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 want to continue, running my life, having fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brendon.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for explaining that. It's really good.
Exactly. I love how open and honest and giving you are, and sort of delving into, your journey so far and what you've experienced. And I know we touched on it just before, but maybe just spend a minute or two on what obstacles you have come across, just to sort of raise awareness for those who are about to embark on their own journey.
I would say the biggest obstacle is trying to keep a healthy relationship with your family and support work, because not is it daunting for someone with a disability wanting to move out of home, it's also the family that it impacts too, because they've spent every day of their life they're your biggest advocate for you, and they want to continue being your advocate. So it's really important through the whole application process to keep them informed of what's happening and how it's, even get them involved with conversations with your SDA provider, your SIL provider, and all your support networks, so everyone is aware of what page of your story you're on,
Mm.
and so that they can best assist you with whatever you need.
Yeah.
It's really key and really, really important. And
Yeah.
I urge everybody to do that.
Yeah.
Keep
And
that
you also
process.
mentioned before about also
great.
staying on top of that application as well, and not waiting necessarily to be told
Yeah. So
that you've received the funding, but to
Yeah.
to go
yeah.
forward
So
and make those
so even
inquiries.
like, because I know like everybody knows the NDIA, things take time in applications. It just in an ordinary planning process, it takes time. But even in SCA, like even if you've had your application in for like a month or so, just regularly ring their number and check that, to see the progress of that application and how it's going, and so you're aware of what's happening too. I think that's important. That's important too.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's nice to have a shock of a surprise like that, but it's also good to just keep keep knowledge of what's
Mhm.
happening around you.
Yeah, beautiful. And before we go over to Libby, just run us through maybe some hot tips or what advice you'd like to give participants and families who are joining us today and learning a bit about SDA.
Um, I'd say the best advice some of the best advices would be first one would be to remember that it's an emotional process. It
Yeah.
can be a roller coaster for everyone, and it's not a quick and easy process. And also, quick and easy, and be prepared to receive the outcome that you're not. I mean, be prepared to have that you might not have the outcome that you're seeking and that you're wanting, and if it's not the outcome that you're seeking and wanting, there are appeal processes there and in place, and it's really important. If this is the biggest goal of your life, exhaust every appeal process that you can, because you just don't know what could happen at the other end, and it's really important to fight for what you want in the way you choose your life and how you want to live.
Yeah.
Yep, gorgeous.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Brendon. Thank
Excellent.
you. So just leading on from that, I think also one of your, what you would also probably say is to lean on the Housing Hub for some information and support along the way as well. So with that in mind, shall we have a chat with Libby about what the Housing Hub does, how it works? Libby, talk to us.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brendon. It's such a rich story, and we have a team. So the Housing Hub team includes a lot of lived experience and a lot of experience in the sector. So the both and that gets shared. So if you connect with us through our information services or through our workshops, you meet Brendon and you get to talk to Brendon more about the intricacies of the process, and you get to meet other people. And our team also includes allied health experience, support coordination experience. So we've got really broad brush but depthful knowledge of the NDIS.
Gorgeous. And Housing Hub itself, it's a national organisation. What's its core business?
Yeah, so the Housing Hub, as you said in the introduction, we're a website, we're a platform that advertises properties for people with disability, and so it's free to list, and it's free to search. And as you heard from Brendon, he searched on Housing Hub and he got really, really excited. So we have simple to use the Housing Hub. You can build an account, so we call it a profile. where you answer some questions. So when Brendon was talking about, you know, looking for a place that really matched what he was looking for, his preferences, where he wanted to live, the things that needed to be close by. So we ask you a few questions like that, and then the website starts to send you information saying, how about you have a look at this place and what do you think of that? So we do that through an email or through alerts. And you can connect your support coordinator in your team into that and get searching. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what else can someone get in contact with the Housing Hub to talk about?
Yeah, so we, so I think when I was listening to Brendon's story, I thought of the two really critical roles around search and learn. So Brendon, the NDIS is full of acronyms, isn't it? So just in this last half hour, we've heard ILO, SIL, SDA, high physical support, improved livability. I was writing them all down. On-site overnight assistance. And these things, we because they've given acronyms or really technical terms, it's sometimes very confusing about, well, like, how does is this for me? Would it actually work in my life? And so Brendon's story is so fantastic about how those acronyms aren't just boxes in the NDIS, they're actually ways that support you to live the life that you want. So our team has great experience in breaking that information down, in talking to you about all of the different ways that the NDIS could support you with your goals of independent living. So specialist disability accommodation, or SDA, is one of those ways, but there's also home modifications. You introduced individualised living options, Justine, at the beginning. So what do all of these mean, and could they be for me? So our team, through our phone line, through our workshops and resources, can give you a lot of information about that. And we sometimes talk to people regularly because we know, as you heard from Brendon, he's got challenges. The first challenge was actually putting the application process together with his OT. You have to apply for SDA. It has eligibility criteria. So people need a touch point around that. And then if you get your decision back and you think that decision is not the right decision for me, you can contact us around that. So we can be a touch point along the journey.
Brilliant.
And we'd love to meet you. Yeah.
Sorry, just to interrupt, I just want to let our live audience know that I'm putting links and resources into the comment section right now of the Facebook. So you can either see them popping up now, that's what's popping up, or you can actually return to this in our Facebook feed later on, and you'll be able to expand the comment section and you'll be able to receive those links and Libby that Libby's referring to right now.
Right. Yeah. And I wanted to, so just in terms of who we connect with, so Brendon also talked about a lot of different people. So he talked about his family. So we certainly talk with parents and families, and we've also got experience. We've got family members and parents in our team as well. We talk with OTs, we talk with support coordinators, and again, Brendon's story so beautifully illustrates the absolute importance that a role like a support coordinator or an OT could have in giving somebody, in opening up a transformative opportunity for somebody. So it's not me, it wasn't me sitting with Brendon, it was his OT. And his OT triggered something totally new in his life. And so our resources and our information and our workshops also connect in with those really important providers in the sector who could be a gateway to these new opportunities for people.
That's exactly right. It's just that one communication, that one piece of information that really can make such a massive change. So, Libby, how does someone start their journey?
Yeah, so Brendon's story illustrates starting. So I think what Brendon's story, if I could just touch on that again. So really couple of really important points is that Brendon had a vision for himself. So thinking that thinking that this is possible, and how do I get it, or how do I want it? How do I get it for myself, or what steps do I need to take, was so important. And we'd love you to connect in with us, because our lived experience team have all got their own story around that. So we talk about it in our team as like believing better is possible. So having a vision for yourself. And then I think what we would say is to think about yourself and your needs and preferences first. This is really important, because often we look out there into the world and we see the buildings and we see group homes and we see apartments and we think about the bricks and mortar first. But actually, the way that the NDIS works now is that housing really needs to be shaped by what it is that people with disability, the way that people with disability want to live. And if you think of something like individualised living options, that term came about. It's actually not a new thing. It's the way that the NDIS has tried to put into the price guide and put some guidelines around ways that people with disability would like to live, and we're doing it before the NDIS. So thinking about yourself, your needs and your preferences, and how you want to live, where you want to live and who you want to live with is so important. And even more important, because the NDIS pays attention to that. It pays attention when you talk about your own goals in life, the goals in your NDIS plan, and certainly if you're going through review or appeal processes, it pays very close attention to the kinds of documentation, the kinds of statement that you've made about yourself and the life that you want to live.
And again, it's really important to have a good tight team that's fully across home and living supports, to be able to make sure that the application that you do eventually put forward is the strongest one that you can. So
that's right.
I'd say that so people listening and watching today, their first port of call would be to visit the Housing Hub website, obviously, and have a look around there, but then also give the Housing Hub a call. Like you say, there are people waiting to be able to speak and support. And the Housing Hub also runs workshops in face-to-face and online. So that's something also that can be looked at by people who want to start looking at their home and living options.
That's right.
The Housing Hub, we're going to put the Housing Hub's phone number in the comments below, but if you'd like to jot it down right now, it's 1300 61 64 63. And they were obviously very, very knowledgeable across everything home and living. And you might be lucky enough to have a chat and a beer with Brendon one day and learn more about his experience. So thank you so much for that, Libby. Says, do you have something you'd like to add?
Look, no, essentially, I don't think so. After we've heard all that wealth of information, I guess speaking from a plan tracker's perspective, I'd just like to re-communicate to our community our real connection and commitment to this value of self-directed supports. This idea that individuals absolutely have the right and should have free access to all the support that they need in order to enact their life vision. And this, one of the ways of doing this is absolutely by choosing where they live, who they live with, how they live as well. So I just want to also take something out of Brendon's story as well, and something that I'm learning through doing connect calls with our community through Plan Tracker, is that this is a journey, and it's not just one conversation, and it's sort of concepts and then thinking about that, and then as time goes on, building that network of supports. So I think we can see the value that Housing Hub plays in being that central, that starting point, but that central kind of key coordination idea to assist individuals and families to organize their life. And I think Brendon said to be in charge of my life, and really it's as simple as that, isn't it? When all is said and done, it's as simple as that. So I just want to say thank you so much, Libby. You know, I've been stalking you for many years. I consider you an excellent role model and mentor to myself personally and professionally. Brendon, it's been an absolute,
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, Brendon. despite you, I used to live in Brisbane and I didn't mind the Brisbane Broncos, but I gave up after a while. But now you've intrigued me, and perhaps you will get a random email from me after. I'll follow the season, hey, yeah, and see how they go. But I wish you all the best with your future maneuverings. I know it's not the most important part, and it does suck a lot of our time to really, to work to get the right funding in the right places so that we can go and live our life. But I wish you all the best with your next chapter.
Thank you very much for having me and letting me be a part of this Facebook Live. It's been an amazing opportunity. The last couple of weeks have just been insanely intensively. It's crazy to think that I'm now living on my own and I'm loving every minute of it. Thank you so much. Thank you thank you for letting me be here. Thank
Your
you.
excitement is contagious, Brendon.
It is.
It absolutely is. Thank you so much, guys. Lips, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the way that you join up to the Housing Hub is right on our front page. It says sign up. And I was thinking about Brendan's excitement. He was looking through the Housing Hub and getting so excited. And so I really, wanted to encourage people to answer those questions, start thinking about yourself and start taking a look around at the opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Please, if you do have any questions, please give the Housing Hub a call or pop some comments in the comments section below this video, and we'll do our very best to direct them to the best source of answer for you. We've really enjoyed having you, and thank you again, Brendon and Libby. This has been such a great session. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to be happy for the rest of the day now. And I do wish you the best with your getting your blinds installed, Brendon, and converting the rest of your apartment to the batch pad. I'm sure it's about to become so. Thank you, everyone.
They literally just finished. So.
Oh, did they?
Awesome.
Oh, beautiful.
It's
That's awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.